We go to the third inning here at Rogers Center, a day we remember Yogi Berra. He passed away late last night at the age of 90. And when you think of Yogi, you also think of Ron Guidry, who was Yogi's personal friend, driver, confidant, especially in spring training. And Ronnie is nice enough to join us now over the phone from his home. And Ron, we all offer our condolences to you, because I know that you and Yogi had a very special relationship.
Well, thanks for saying so. It was quite unique. We were friends for a long time.
Now, how did you guys, how did the friendship develop?
Well, people forget that we were friends in the 70s. He was Martin's bench coach. So it developed early. And it lasted and it bloomed once he came back from that hiatus. And he started coming back to spring training.
Now, there's a great book that Harvey Araton of the New York Times wrote, Driving Mr. Yogi, about your drives with Yogi. What were some of the things that you talked about with Yogi when you picked him up to take him to the ballpark?
Well, we talked about everything. We talked about the players. We talked about all of the the past players, and that's how I got him to talk about himself. If you knew Yogi really well, he never talked about himself. It was always someone else. And having him all to myself, that's how I found out a lot about him and all of the past players.
Now, I was talking today with you on the radio, and you told a great story about how in spring training you and Yogi went out to dinner every night, and you never had to pay, right?
We didn't pay very often. We'd have our meal, and then when we'd be ready to leave, we'd ask for the check, and then whoever was waiting on us would just come by and said, "Don't worry, Mr. Guidry, Mr. Berra, it's been taken care of." And of course you ask, well, who took care of it? The young couple that you guys waved to or you signed the autograph took care of it. Yeah, people just loved him. Everywhere we went, people would stop, get out of their cars and just wave. When we'd cross the parking lot to go from my truck to the restaurant, people would stop in the road, put down the window and just say, "Yogi," and they'd wave.
Gator, I'm curious, what do you think made him special like that, for people to feel that way?
Because he was just who he was. Just a real down-home, humble guy. And that old saying, what you see is what you get, that's him.
Gator, how about the baseball knowledge as far as what went on the field and what he could, give out, the experience that he would give to the younger players?
Kenny, he was a walking encyclopedia on the game. I mean, you guys were around him, so you had a little bit of idea what he was like and his knowledge about the game. I mean, you asked him, he gave you an answer.
You told a great story today, Ron, about one of the rare times you saw Yogi in a bad mood because he had to go out to California to film a commercial. Tell us about that.
Well, it's just every day you could tell what kind of mood he was in when he walked off, when he came out of the elevator. If he was waving to the people who were waving at him, that was a good mood. If he didn't wave, it was a bad mood. And when he got in the truck, he wasn't too happy. I asked him what was wrong. He said he had to fly to California to make an affliction commercial. And I'm driving away from the hotel trying to think about what he's trying to talk and say. Affliction, what is it? And he looked at me and he goes, with that damn duck. and right away I knew. I said, "You mean the Affleck?" And he said, "Yeah, that's it." And to top that off, when I picked him up from the airport when he flew back, when he got in the truck, I asked him, "How was your trip?" The first thing he says, he looked at me and he goes, "Gator, you know that duck really doesn't talk." And he said it with such passion that I knew that he wanted to make sure I understood that duck did not speak.
So many great stories, Ronnie. We thank you for sharing some of your time.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And I know this is a tough day for you. Thank you. That's Ron Guidry, and he had such a special relationship with Yogi.